Geek podcast on the in.fm, and my name's Adam, and I'm joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up? And it's episode 35, November 18th, 2015. Again, you should be listening to us on the in.fm at 9 p.m. We're here every weekday, and then the following day you can listen to our podcast.
And we got one weekday, not every weekday.
Right. One weekday. One weekday's enough.
Yeah.
So episode 35, we got a lot to talk about. Got some movie news, some TV news, we got some video game stuff, Fallout 4, Battlefront, got some cool episodes of The Flash and whatnot, and we'll get into all that, man. But first, I kind of want to start it out, and say that, our thoughts go out to, our friends over in Europe and in France, and, what happened was barbaric. And, we have your backs. Just like you've had ours since 1778. So, yeah, man, just our hearts go out to you and our thoughts and everything. So, just kind of wanted to say that. It sucks what happened, and but we're here for you. So, but yeah, man, let's get into it. We got a ton of freaking news to talk about. But how has your week been, man?
Busy.
Busy, yeah. You've been working and
mostly work. But I woke up at 11. I woke up at 11 Monday morning.
Yeah.
And I'm still here.
Yeah.
It's a little after midnight on Wednesday morning.
So you had no sleep?
None. I went.
Wow.
I went the first 11 hours of Monday up until Battlefront released. Just normal day, whatever. And once I got Battlefront, 24 hours. Straight.
What happened?
I kept playing. I was like, I am just gonna play the hell out of this until the podcast.
I don't think I've ever heard or seen you do something like that. Why Star Wars Battlefront?
It was time. I haven't done something like this in a long time. I think the last time I did this, I did with a couple of friends of mine, and we did. And it was part of we would do a Final Fantasy a day kind of thing. Wow. And at one point it just kind of bled into, we're just going to do we did 8 and 9 back to back, and that took 2.5 days, and we took it in shifts and everything. But Battlefront is the kind of game where it works with something like this because my biggest criticism was there's no story mode.
Right.
But that kind of plays into the advantage of something like this, where you can just jump on and play for a day straight. And I thought, what the hell? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something there if it keeps your attention for that long. That's one of. I mean, I'll be honest. I got it, haven't touched it just because of how today was. I knew today was going to be a long day with work and everything, so I was just completely slammed. And yeah, man, I just haven't gotten to it. But I have over the last week, though, been just dove in. I've just dove in to Fallout. Head first. At first, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Now, I still don't know what I'm doing, but I have a better understanding. And there's just, you pull back a layer, and then you pull back another layer, and then another layer, and then another layer, and then it's overwhelming. It's more overwhelming than something like The Witcher. And so that's kind of what I've been diving into. I've been super busy with real life stuff, trying to get some entertainment. So I have been able to, watch Gotham and Flash and everything else. But the game I pretty much played was Fallout. Can you believe it or not? It's been 2 weeks. I haven't touched Destiny.
Wow.
2 weeks sober, right? Yeah.
I'm waiting for your group to show up at your house. Adam, are you still here? What's going on?
Yeah, a friend of the show, a longtime friend, my buddy Rocco, when I told him, he was like, hey, do you want to do a raid and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah. And, at the time, I say yeah, but just things happen and I couldn't make it. And I was like, I'll be honest, I haven't touched it in two or 3 weeks. And he's like, are you kidding? He's like, do you have a pulse? Is this Adam? He's like, did I text the wrong person? Yeah, and I was like, yeah, man, and you know what's weird is I'm not the only one like I hear this on Destiny podcasts. I look at my friends list. The whole group that we play Destiny with is playing Black Ops, is playing Fallout, is playing other games, and I think it's honestly because it's that time of year
Well,
where
sure.
now. Right, now we're getting Assassin's Creed, we're getting Battlefront, we're getting all these other games where it's like Destiny was great when there was nothing to play, but now that there are things, it's okay to take a break, and I guess everyone's kind of collectively taking a break. And, we'll get into later in some video game news of what Destiny's actually trying to do to keep people, because now they're going to be introducing things to refer a friend and stuff like that, things that other MMOs have been popular with. But yeah, it's really funny because I just haven't touched it, and I don't even like Fallout's weird. I'll get into that later. I don't I'm not in love with it like I am Skyrim, but it's fun to play, if that makes sense. It's exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And that's I guess the best compliment I could give it. It again, I can't help but play it and think, I wish this was Skyrim. I wish they spent all this time building another Elder Scrolls game, because there's something about the D&D and that kind of world that I'm more fascinated with than a wasteland.
Fantasy over sci-fi in a sense.
No. I would love a Bethesda sci-fi game. Very sci-fi. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like Star Trek, Star Wars, big soap opera, like that kind of space opera sci-fi. Mass Effect or something like that. Oh, I would fall in love with that. This is like the people in a wasteland. It's not the same kind of sci-fi.
It's too grounded for your taste, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yep. It's way too. We'll get into that when we talk about Fallout, but I overall enjoyed it. But yeah, that's what's been taking up my time pretty much this week. But yeah, I mean, let's get into it. We got some movie news to talk about. You take the first one, actually.
This was interesting, and this one kind of snuck up on me. Apparently, AMBI Pictures has announced that they are remaking Memento.
Right.
For God only knows what reason.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit odd. What did you think of the first one?
It was what it was. Like, I didn't think it was the groundbreaking Chris Nolan masterpiece that I've heard some people say it was. I was like, okay, it was interesting. It was not unenjoyable. But
I really liked it. I think I was at that time in my life where I was just starting to see film differently. I wasn't just watching the big blockbuster popcorn films, that I loved. I still love to this day, of course, but I started watching things that were like, this is gonna have to make you think just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think I really enjoyed it for that, if that makes sense. If that alone, I was just very impressionable at that time, I guess.
Right. Well, we all hit that point at some point, and I think Memento came out before I got to that point. But
Gotcha.
I didn't see it until years later. I could stand to go back and watch it again too.
Right.
I
I was just like, what's going on? This is jumping back and forth. This is so different from everything I'm used to. You know what I mean? It's like going and getting an exotic dish, and you're just like, holy shit, I didn't know I could even eat something like that. You know what I mean? At least for my taste. Like I said, I was used to big blockbuster dumb films, and I don't want to say dumb because I don't want to call them dumb, but you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to think much, you just had to have fun, where this was a little bit different. And then I started getting into, like, this was around the time, I guess that maybe I was into Kevin Smith films before. It's where I started to take a little detour. And I was like, let's go check out these alternative type of films.
There you go.
When did Memento come out?
01, I think.
Okay, no, so I guess it must have been before then I was seeing the Kevin Smith films. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Was I in middle school? I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. But it was just a different time. So, at least for me. But yeah, I also saw that the company secured the rights to the movie after acquiring Exclusive Media Group, which also gives them the rights to films like Donnie Darko and Cruel Intentions.
Okay. I
And
mean, another Donnie Darko film was always an unfortunate inevitability, really.
right, and I want to give a tip to you kids out there, you teenagers, you young kids. Cruel Intentions was Netflix and chill before it was a thing. You have a date. You invite you invite someone over. Put in Cruel Intentions. Works every time. Just a tip. Cruel Intentions, great film. It was perfect when I was a teenager. You want to watch Cruel Intentions? All right. What's happening? It was the best. I'll leave it at that. But
See,
but
here
yeah.
I did it all wrong. I did 8 millimeter. So.
Nope. Yep. Nope. Cruel Intentions. That's the key. That's the key. Donnie Darko. Can I admit something?
Sure.
I believe I've seen it. Don't remember anything about it.
That's crazy imaginary rabbit. Things
Yeah,
happen.
it's something I need to revisit.
It's a film that does in a lot of aspects it does hold up, which is a plus. And then they made a sequel, and I don't know if they made like a third one or not, or like a prequel or something. I keep thinking there was like a third film
Right.
of sorts, but I may be thinking of something else. But that's a franchise that has enough of a following that like that'll
Right.
get a remake in the next 3 years, I'm sure.
And it's odd because you either love the film or you just don't get it. You don't like it. It's not for you.
Yeah. There's not really
what
any middle ground with Donnie Darko.
Right. There's no one that's like, oh yeah, let's put on Donnie Darko, honey. That's a movie I remember really fondly. It's either like this movie's so good I've seen it a million times, you don't get it, and then there's the other side that's like I don't get it. What the hell is wrong with this? Like this is garbage. Like those are the two sides I hear. I'm not saying that's what I believe, but those are the two sides that I hear all the time. I actually am curious to go back and revisit it. Yeah, that was a strange one. I must have been drunk or something when I saw it because I remember seeing it, but I don't remember much about it.
Well, that would help probably.
I remember a plane crash, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. That's what I remember from it. I didn't understand it.
It's one of the weirdest instances of time travel in a movie.
Right.
Like it
Yeah.
it just kind of seems like it comes out of nowhere, I thought.
And I hear it leaves a lot to you to decide what actually happens.
And that was the problem with the sequel, where it just said, nope, we have a canon ending here.
Oh, okay, that kind of
Yeah.
sucks. I like it when they leave it open-ended.
So,
Sometimes. Yeah, but hey, man, we got a lot of movie news to talk about. We're gonna take a break though. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and man, we got some more movie news to talk about. This one, you take the next one too. I thought this was kind of cool.
This is interesting. Some Dark Tower casting news, and the more I hear about this, the more I keep thinking like this. I'm in part of the audience that I know nothing about this series. So I mean, when everybody freaked out, the Matthew McConaughey is rumored to be cast. He's at the top of the short list to play Roland Deschain, who
Right.
is apparently the bad guy, from what I've heard.
Right.
Okay. So
I'm not sure. I picked up one of the books, read a few chapters, and gave up.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
That's one I could like. I just never. I never even picked it up. So I mean, I know.
I'm surprised.
Well, it was. I don't know. I always kind of stayed away from the big names. I don't know why. It just always kind of happened that way.
Right. Yeah, no, it was funny. A mutual friend of ours bought me this book. I tried to read a few chapters, did not get into it. Just was not about it. I don't know why. It was just really boring. And from what I understand, like the book series, apparently it's like they all say the first book is boring, the rest are really good. And that's
Also,
hard for a book. It's not like a TV show where you're like, The first 3 episodes are garbage, but if you give it time, it's like, okay, I can waste 3 hours of my life just to get the story.
Yeah,
I can't do that with a book.
If you have to wait, if you're gonna watch The Wire, you have to wait until like the series finale to really get into.
Right? No, you're not lying. That's exactly how The Wire went.
Yeah.
And then I loved it, and I went back actually and really enjoyed the first season because I totally got what was going on. But yeah, no, I totally agree, man. And that's what happened with this series is it didn't catch me, and I'm surprised you didn't read it though. Because yeah, it's such a big this is a huge series for a lot of people. And Matthew McConaughey is a huge get.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've been kind of tiptoeing around this for a while now with Ron Howard and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Did I let you finish it?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I was just looking over who was in the roles and whatnot. So yeah, I guess Russell Crowe was up for the role and whatnot. And there's been so many different names attached to that. We got some more news, though. We got some Fast and the Furious news. A spinoff is on the horizon, according to Variety. Vin Diesel has already confirmed that Universal Pictures is in the preliminary stages of developing a spinoff film based on the couple of franchise characters. Sorry about that. I got indigestion or something. Universal Picture Chairman Donna Langley backed up Diesel's statements, adding that the studio has been looking for a way to expand the series for quite some time. So who do you think that would be?
I don't care because the whole point of the franchise is to be about the family.
I'm gonna say one name.
You're not. Don't say it.
Han. That's all I want. I want a Han film. I want some Tokyo Drift. I want Han on an adventure with his girlfriend. All, of course, before the untimely, passing. I want a Han series. Oh, I would so love that. Who'd you think I was going to say? Did you think I was going to say Han?
I thought you were going to say Luda just to mess with me.
No. Han's my favorite, man. Now, that's why I loved Tokyo Drift. First of all, we both like anime type stuff. We love Japan. I would love to go to Japan. That film got me because of how different it was. That's why I was like, oh, wow. And it totally embraced the goofiness. And Han, he was the best character. He was the Han Solo of the film. And his character is just I like his character. He's cool as hell. And I hated that about the newer ones. I could see them doing a Rock one, I guess.
I would love to see if they would put Luda and Tyrese together.
Oh, geez.
That would just be goofy as hell.
Yeah, it would be goofy as hell. I wasn't even thinking about them too. I like Tyrese. Tyrese is a cool dude. He's grown on me in the films. I did not like him in the second one. Mm-hmm. But he did grow on me, I guess. But yeah, no. So I thought that was cool. That series is too big. It's way too big to not do a spinoff. It only makes sense. Now we're gonna have a Fast and the Furious movie universe.
Yeah.
Cinematic universe. How weird is that? We're gonna have a Fast and Furious cinematic universe. But yeah. Moving on, we got some Prometheus 2 news.
Yeah, this is the.
So if we're not going to confuse this series anymore, it's going to officially be titled Alien Covenant.
Yeah, as opposed to Prometheus 2, as opposed to Alien Paradise Lost, we're going to call it Alien Covenant. Not to be confused with the Covenant aliens in Halo, but to, I don't know, have some... I don't care. I don't want this movie. Get this movie the hell away from my franchise. Get rid of it. Nobody wants this movie. Stop. Stop making this. Stop stroking Ridley Scott's ego and get rid of this freaking movie.
Right.
The first one sucked. Don't make a sequel. Greenlight Blomkamp's Alien 5 that's going to actually be the movie we want it to be, and just get this. I will be so glad when this is over and done with.
Right. Well, this is a reaction to people saying they want another Alien film first. They're going, okay. Maybe if they don't, we'll just call it Alien Covenant. Yeah. And they'll have no idea.
No.
Honestly, though, I say that jokingly, but the mass public, the population, they won't know better. Seriously, they won't. They'll see an alien on the title, and they'll go, "Oh, there's a new Alien film, guaranteed."
Well,
My
and
parents, people that don't pay attention to this, people just don't pay attention to this kind of stuff like we do, that aren't in our echo chamber. They're not going to know the difference. They're going to go, "Oh, that's an Alien film."
Right,
right?
Because the last time they did that, they did Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and Alien vs. Predator, and Alien Resurrection. And, that's... They haven't had a good Alien film in years. Not since Alien 3, really.
Right.
Because Resurrection was just atrocious. I'm sorry for Joss for being involved in that. But yeah.
Well, didn't Ridley Scott, didn't he do The Martian?
Yeah, which was
good.
Pretty
good.
It was good. No, I mean, look, Ridley's a hell of a writer and director. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him, but Prometheus was a dud. It was beyond a dud, and to do another one of those, and you can change the title all you want. You polish turd, it's still a turd.
Right, but I think we have to take it with a grain of salt, because he did give us Alien, he did give us Blade Runner, he gave us The Martian, he gave us some good films. I get why you're being cynical about it, and I guess I just need to, just for the show's sake, take the high road of it and be a little bit more positive about it.
Hey, look, I want this to be good. I love this franchise. I thought Alien vs. Predator Requiem was actually not a terrible movie. It wasn't great, but it was a hell of a lot better than AVP was. But then Prometheus came along and just destroyed it. It was just awful.
Well, Ridley Scott didn't do Alien. Did Requiem? Did he?
No, they didn't. He wasn't involved with those. I don't believe.
To me, I don't. Those are like verse films that I don't even consider.
Right? They're not really canon. Whatever. It's
like
fine, whatever.
Jason verse Freddy.
Exactly. Yeah, but still, I mean, Prometheus still sucked. Like,
right. No, I totally agree. Agree. You're not going to hear me disagree about that. I guess I'm just more optimistic about it.
I joked, we were going to call it Alien Audience Lost, but now we can call it Alien Covenant Broken.
Right. And I didn't get that Covenant thing because I've never played Halo, so I mean, I get it in context. It's an alien species in it, but that's about as far as it went for me. Yeah. But oh man, dude, got a paycheck coming. I can't. I got too many real world bills. I have to. Dude. If I get one, it's gonna be this week. Then that's a problem too. Yeah. I need to stay away from being able to purchase anything this weekend. Honestly, I got the holidays coming up. I got my Christmas presents. I'm getting a new car. I can't. Oh, it's so tempting though because it's gonna be there ready to use.
And I'll tell you what. And this, for anybody out there who is an Alien fan or has Alien fans in their family. The Alien Quadrilogy Blu-ray set, all 4 Alien films on Blu-ray, special features, extended, all that really, really good stuff. It's a great set. It's on Amazon and it's cheap. I mean, like $30 cheap. It's a hell of a set. I got it when it came out on DVD, and I keep looking at the Blu-ray because I'm like, there's so much excellent stuff on it. The bonus features are worth it just by itself, and it's a hell of a deal for all 4 of them.
Yeah, man, I heard it's good. One of my buddy actually has it. He won't let me borrow any movies anymore because I never gave back. What were they? I forget. The Star Trek films from back in the day. I feel really bad. I borrowed all the Star Trek movies, and I don't know what happened to them. I moved, they were all gone, and I felt so bad. And I forgot one year I went to go, and I sent him. I forgot what I got. They were like digital copies. He's like, it's not the same. I want the DVD set. I'm like, I'll get you the Blu-ray. He's like, it's not the same.
They took the voyage. They took the voyage home, did they?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I was like, I'll get you the Blu-ray set, man. Like I feel terrible. And he was like, no, like they were the 2-disc special edition, blah blah. I'm like, it's the Blu-ray set. Like they're high. He's like, I don't know. Back then, I guess he didn't have a Blu-ray player.
Well, and the other thing is sometimes they don't have the same stuff on them. Different versions have different special features.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right. I felt terrible about that. But yeah, so you wouldn't let me borrow the. Now, is quadrilogy even a real word?
Quadrilogy? Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
It's not a made-up word.
Well, all words are made up until they're
Well,
official, but yeah. No,
I mean,
quadrilogy is
I
a
googled it because I know it meant like how many films it's in, like a trilogy and whatnot.
yeah.
But yeah, I got an Urban Dictionary, so I didn't. I thought, is that a real word?
It's a real word to me.
I guess I've never heard it except for when someone mentions the Alien franchise.
I'd say, that's probably true. You could technically say Scream is a quadrilogy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see here. What else do we got? We got a Donnie Yen versus Mike Tyson in IP Man 3.
Yep, Man 3, yeah.
Yep, Man. Oh, I never seen the film, so I guess I didn't know how to pronounce it.
This was the one that had the big kerfuffle over Bruce Lee's likeness, right?
No, I mean, what? Tell me.
They were gonna cast somebody to play him in the film, and his estate wasn't gonna have it.
Oh wow!
I don't know whatever happened with that, but I remember
recreated through CGI.
Yeah, like there was gonna be a whole big thing about it. I don't know whatever happened with it.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. Principal photography commenced. Film be released. Yeah, it says reprising the title role. The film also star Mike Tyson, and Yip Man's pupil Bruce Lee, recreating him through CGI. I guess they would just do like an actor and then kind of put his face on him.
More or less, I would imagine.
I don't know. I don't know if we're there yet with CGI. I mean, we are when we do like. I mean, look what they did with Paul Walker and whatnot. But
I mean, they had his brother to work from.
Right, they had his brother, and they had half the film shot.
Yeah,
a majority of it, and of course they had to probably recut a lot of stuff to, put more people up front than him.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even really see a difference in that film until like the very end scene where you could tell, oh crap, like that's not him sitting there.
But they retouched it well for the Blu-ray though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So go back and look. Well, we're going to take another break. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and man, we got a lot more news to talk about. We got some Doctor Strange news. You take it here.
Okay. We've got two castings. Amy Landecker from Transparent, and Scott Adkins, who's a martial artist. He was in the Bourne Ultimatum. He was in something else that escapes me. The Expendables 2, 3, one of them. I forget. 2, I think. But they have both been cast in some unspecified roles. So just, adding more names to the cast. Fun stuff.
Right, yeah. No, I recognize him from Bourne Ultimatum. I just saw the whole Bourne Trilogy in the last few weeks. I still have one more to go, but it's not the one with Matt Damon.
Oh, it's Legacy?
Legacy, yeah. That's the one I need to see, because I know the new one's coming out next year. So
yeah.
I do have to say they're not my kind of films. These kind of films are, I call them dad films. These are films that my dad likes, like totally gets into, like my grandfather, for whatever reason. It's those like spy thriller films, and they're so grounded. You know what I mean? Where like Bond has become such like, he's such a cartoon character almost. Not the newer ones. The newer Bond films are not as much, but the older ones, you know how like they're big, crazy spy films. Bourne Ultimatum is like in your face. You feel the punches. You hear the punches. If that makes sense.
It's more Italian Job than Bond.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh absolutely. So they were cool though for what they were. It was one of those series where I was like, I need to start watching this because it's a big thing and the new one's coming out. And I guess I just saw Matt Damon in The Martian, and I was like, I've seen a lot of his good films, but I never saw those. So went back and revisited them, and
there you go.
They're pretty good. We got some Aquaman news. Let's see here. David Leslie Johnson from The Conjuring 2 hired as a third writer for the film.
Yeah, because they don't understand the idea of too many cooks over at DC Warner Brothers.
Right. Yeah.
They've got 3 writers and like 26 producers, and like it's a mess.
Yeah. That doesn't look good. I mean, how do you? You know what? This is gonna sound so repetitive because I keep saying it. If it was Marvel making this kind of film, I wouldn't have a doubt in my mind. They made Guardians. They've shown themselves. I don't know if I can trust DC with an Aquaman film, let alone it seems like they can't get stuff right when it's the easy stuff, like Green Lantern or something. It's gonna be hard to, I don't know. I don't know. Did you see the the Wonder Woman news and stuff? I guess it's most of it. No surprise, going to be shot in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. I saw they had there was like a production still that they posted or something.
Right, yeah. With what's his face, Kirk,
Chris Pine. Yeah.
Chris Pine, and I forget the other actor. And it looks cool. It looks like what I imagined Wonder Woman back then would look like. So I thought it looked cool. They're going to also be shooting. That's what I was getting to is Justice League Part 1 there. They're going to be starting filming next year for that. So
and here's the other thing. Like, I don't know the timeline for how DC is making these films. Like we have a release schedule, but it doesn't seem like they're shooting them in order.
Right.
Because they've got here's Wonder Woman, and then and we're gonna do Justice League. Oh well, what about Aquaman? Well, we're writing it.
Right. It's totally out of order. I mean, at least with with the Marvel films, it seems like they are in a specific order. You know, we're seeing them as they are. Some of them are kind of out of the loop, like Cap was. But it was pretty much I have no idea the order of these films. I know that we're going to be getting Suicide Squad. We're going to be getting Batman vs Superman. After that, I have no idea.
Yeah, all bets are off after that.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty much the news on that was just that a lot of it's being shot in the UK and Italy, and same for the Justice League Part 1. So I thought that was kind of cool. And Mara, I don't know how you pronounce her name, is going to be a big part of Aquaman, and that she might make an appearance in in Justice League.
Oh, Mara.
Sorry about that. I am with names, but yeah. So I mean, that was kind of a no-brainer for Aquaman. That's one of the biggest people in his, in their pocket they could use for Aquaman.
Well,
so,
yeah.
Right. We got some Blade Runner 2 news. Ryan Gosling confirms involvement with the project.
He said, and the quote that I love, he said, "My head would literally explode if I said any more." He was like, because somebody asked him something, he was like, "Yes, I'm involved with it." That's it. That's all we got.
That's great.
I hope he's not playing the lead because I don't like Ryan Gosling, but that's just me.
No?
I haven't seen him in anything that's made me like him.
Right.
I haven't. Nothing has really turned me around on him.
Yeah. No, I've liked a lot of his films. There was one weird one that I saw, and I brought this up with a friend of mine. We watched it years ago when we were in college. It was called Lars and the Real Girl.
Oh God.
Right. I was talking to her because there was a film that came out recently. What was that one with Joaquin Phoenix where he fell in love with the AI? Her.
Oh, Her. Yeah.
Right. Never saw it, but
you should put that one on the list. That's a good movie.
Right, that's what she said, and I didn't mean that in a joking manner. And she was talking about it, and she was like, and I was like, remember the movie we watched a long time ago called Lars and the Real Girl? And it was about, he like falls in love with a doll or something, and like this is a real thing that people do apparently. Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
They just fully in love with them, act as if they're real and whatnot. And it was just such a bizarre movie. So Ryan Gosling has been in some crazy ones. There was one recently that I saw. What was it? Drive. I thought that was really good.
I hated that movie.
You really did?
It was so boring. It was, and I can understand. Really? This is where my buddy and I differ. My buddy from when I was back in Sarasota, he is a film critic of the nth degree,
right?
Which is both a good thing and a bad thing. But
right.
This was a movie right up his alley.
Gotcha.
And I can, he appreciates film on a different level than I do. And that's why we clash on a lot of stuff. And he looked at it, he saw all of these really fantastic things. I looked at it and I saw a movie where absolutely nothing happened.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I just
both point of views on that.
Yeah, so I mean, that was one where I was like, yeah, that did nothing for me.
Right. Yeah, we got some Tomb Raider news. Reboot film lands. Was it Roar Udhog?
Yeah, I was gonna make you try that.
Why did
Utog,
I
I believe.
take this one? Yeah, from the wave to direct.
Yeah, it'll be his English language debut
Oh, okay. I
directing.
was gonna
But,
say I've never seen the wave, never heard of it.
it's a oh shoot, I forget exactly what movie it was. I mean, it was a disaster film, but it was oh, that's gonna bug me. I can't remember exactly like what because different like you can't just say like oh it was Filipino or it was Indian. Like they're each of those countries has different kinds of schools. Like they're all a little different. I can't remember where he
Right,
came from.
it says a high school teacher's experiment to demonstrate to his students what life is like under the dictatorship spins horribly out of control when he forms a social unit with a life of its own. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't say.
Doesn't give a country. That's interesting.
Germany's past. It can't be Germany, right?
I don't think so. I don't remember. We'll come back to that one.
Filming locations: Berlin and Germany. Country: Germany. Language: German. Is this the right one? Is it a German film?
Yeah. That's
Right. You're yelling
that's
about
it.
Nazis in the quote section, so I mean it's got to be German. Die Welle, or yeah, Welle. So yeah, I guess it's a German film. So
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, Tomb Raider. We'll get to that news later.
Yeah.
Justice League Dark. Colin Farrell rumored to play John Constantine. What?
Boo! I hate this
Oh.
news. I despise this news. It was a
It's
Norwegian
horrible.
film. The Wave was a Norwegian film.
Oh, okay. God, why would they just use the guy on TV? I don't know.
But they can't do that because they're different universes, and I don't.
Perfect.
Ah,
Perfect. He is. I've read a lot of John Constantine in like Justice League Dark and stuff like that,
Yeah.
not by himself. And dude, he nails it.
Matt Ryan is perfect. Matt Ryan
Ryan,
is the
okay.
perfect John Constantine. I understand they're gonna have to recast him. Fine, whatever. I hate this news. This was the one DC film that I was really looking forward to, and I know
Yeah.
this is just a rumor, and it'll probably change because he probably won't want to do it, which is good news for everybody.
Right.
But I hate this news. I actively, genuinely despise this news.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you at all. Did you see what Shia LaBeouf was doing?
Oh, watching him watch him on film, God.
Right. You know what? He gets a lot of shit. You know, he eats a lot of shit for what he does. Dude, it's an interesting ride to watch at this point.
That's the thing. I have to give him credit for just saying, you know what? Screw it. I have an idea. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna fail spectacularly. It's gonna wind up being a punchline in a lot of ways. But you know what?
He's embracing it.
That's it.
He's totally embracing this, like, do it now.
Yeah.
You know, this whole, all my movies. He was at Tomorrow World. He's like freestyle rapping with kids online, I saw.
Yeah.
I like that he's embracing this almost like Bill Murray type of persona, that he is not just this guy, because I can't tell you the last film I actually saw him in. He was in that one with the tanks or whatnot, right?
Fury. Yeah.
Fury. That was the last kind of big movie he's done. But he's just been this like guy that he's in the news now, and like him or hate him, he watched all of his movies and he apologized for them. He felt I actually think he went a little overboard. It's like the movies weren't that bad, and they weren't his fault either. I really don't think any of those films that he were in was his fault whatsoever. I think he did a damn good job in all the films he was in. The writing was bad. The script was bad. Indiana Jones was not his fault. He did the best he could.
Transformers 3 was not his fault.
Not his fault at all. He's totally enjoyable to see in the film. And I think that, maybe he has a point with, like, I knew this was just going to rob people of their money. Like, he knew going into it was bad. It was just a money grab.
But hey, it's a paycheck. I mean, at the end of the day, acting is a job.
Right. I think he went overboard. I like that he's, a regular person. He's like, look, I saw the films and I feel terrible. He's giving away apparently $10 million to people. He said basically you can write him a letter. He has an address and whatnot. He wants to hear legitimate reasons why you feel you deserve your money back. And he's giving away money to people.
Because I have run over the course of his career now 3 different podcasts where I have been forced to review his movies and participate in discussions on films that he has played some sort of major part in. I just want one. I don't need the whole 10. Just give me one. I can pay off my student loans. I can go back to school. I can get a film degree, and I can put him in a movie with some decent writing.
So why don't you write him, dude? Tell him that. Say, hey, look, here's the deal. Yeah. And tell him honestly that this is how I feel about your films. I don't think that you were the reason, and this is why you could help me help the industry.
Exactly. Consider this an investment in your future as well.
And I'm not trying to be cheeky here, buddy. Like, you really should do that. Like, he's got $10 million to just blow away, and he does.
Yeah.
Just a few of those films he was in, he made millions, and that's what's kind of cool. He can just be this persona that just goes around and he's like, hey guys, here's the real me. So anyway, we'll get back. We got a lot to talk about on We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and I promise you, we're almost done with actually, we're done with movies. Let's get on to some TV. Snowpiercer, Tomorrow Studios picked up TV rights to a 2013 movie based on the French graphic novel. I don't know anything about Snowpiercer.
Oh, you didn't see Oh, that's got to go at the top of your list. It's Chris Evans on a post-apocalyptic train that can't, like, the whole world is covered in snow, and the train keeps everybody alive, and there's the cars are a caste system. First class all the way on back to where they are in steerage. Great film. It's a fantastic film.
You said a lot of words I don't understand. So it's a post-apocalyptic train ride?
Yeah, literally.
Okay, I'll pay. That sounds fun. Okay, at 2031, entire world's frozen over except for those aboard the Snowpiercer. Yeah. For 17 years, the world survivors on a train, hurtling down a globe, creating their own economy and class system. Okay, that's cool, dude. I'm totally in. It's on Netflix?
It may well be. I know it was for a while. I don't know if it's back. But it is a fantastic film.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No. Netflix dropping $50 million on Snowpiercer, so that's awesome.
Yeah. It is on there. It is there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That is awesome. Okay. Yeah. I'll be definitely watching that probably after the show.
Yeah. You should. It's going to be interesting to see how that works as a TV series, though.
Hey, they did Star Trek.
Yeah, well, you'll see. You'll see what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, no doubt. We got some Better Call Saul news. Season 2 premieres on February 15th.
Yeah, what a day.
Mark your calendars. Let's see here. We got premiere date for Aaron Carter, Season 2.
Agent Carter. Aaron Carter was the...
Did I say Aaron Carter?
Yeah.
Holy shit. You know what? Okay. You want to know why? I was hanging out with my grandparents last night,
and they were watching Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, they were watching Dancing with the Stars, and they were like, that's the Crocodile Dundee, little girl. And I was like, Crocodile Dundee? What are you talking about? It was Steve Irwin's daughter. And then I was like, who's this other guy? And they were like, he was in the they didn't say Backstreet Boys, they said the Beach Boys. I was like, what are you talking about, me, Mom? That's not the Beach Boys. I was like, you mean Backstreet Boys? Like, yeah. And then they looked at her, his like brother in the audience, and I was like, oh yeah, that's his little brother, and he looks like was he addicted to drugs or something?
I don't know.
He looks like
no idea.
Looks like maybe he's had heroin one or two times. I don't know. It's just the way he looks. I don't want to say anything bad about him, but he looked a little strung out. Where were we? I'm sorry. Agent Carter, Season 2. What's the date?
January 5th.
January. Sorry about that. But yeah. And you know what I watched with them before I left, which was pretty good, that I want to go back and see? It was, oh wow, my mind just went blank. The movie with, about the author,
Capote?
Solves crimes.
Solves crimes?
Yeah, he oh man, this is gonna bother me. Nathan Fillion, he's his TV show.
Castle,
that's it. Yeah, I knew it started with the C. I was gonna say Casper, but
such a good it marathons on TNT all the time.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I was like, wow, that was a really good one.
It's a good show. He and Stanikatic have really good chemistry. It's a great show.
Oh yeah. No, it was definitely good. It was funny as hell. So
And it's
I,
on like its eighth season, I think.
yeah, I
It's been
remember
on for a
watching the
while.
first one.
So
Yep.
totally.
But yeah, man, we TV, we sneezed and got through it, so we got a lot
Yeah.
more news. Got a ton of video game news to talk about. Let's kind of kick it off with the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
You want to take some of them from the top?
Sure, why not? This one was good for me because I never played this one. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is getting an HD remaster for Wii U, which
Cool.
was on no release date, but they said, hey, we are doing this, which is awesome. I can't wait.
That is awesome. Twilight Princess. I'm trying to think of that. Is that the one that was for the Wii?
No, that was Skyward Sword. This was the one before that.
Gotcha.
This was the one that fell between. I want to say it fell between Wind Waker and Skyward Sword.
No, this was on the Wii. I never played this on GameCube. This was on the Wii. This was the first Wii game for Zelda, right?
Was it? Was it a Wii game?
He turns into a wolf, right?
Yeah, was that? Are you sure that was Wii?
Yeah. This was the game I think that came out on both.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember.
I remember because Skyward Sword did the Wii Motion Plus. That was the big thing for that. That's right.
Right. Yeah. I remember it. I remember it coming out on the Wii. This was the first Zelda game I got for it. I think it was like a launch title. Which was cool. I remember picking up like that, Dragon Ball Z, a Mario game, and I forgot what else. When the Wii came out, man, I haven't had a Nintendo system for a while except my 3DS. It's kind of sad. I'm definitely waiting just for the NXT.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm waiting for the NX to come out.
NXT.
Right. Well, if you got time, you could tell us about the upcoming pay-per-view, because we kind of skipped that, but we'll get into that later if we got time.
Yeah.
We got the Star Fox Zero got a date, a month coming to Wii U in April.
Yeah, they had to push it for developmental reasons, which I'm all for. If you're gonna delay a game, come out and tell us why. And if you're gonna just come out, I would rather a company don't BS us. Just come out and say, look, you know what? We were too optimistic. It's not going to be ready. So bear with us. I'll take that any day. Absolutely.
Yeah. No doubt. We got Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow coming to 3DS with trading support.
Old school. Like, this isn't an HD remake or anything. This is just a port.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I honestly think that's the next thing. I really think that they're going to do a Red, a Blue, and a Yellow remake. As much as I loved the Gold and Silver remakes, and the Red and the Ruby and whatever, I really want an original. Honestly, though, I want just like a Pokemon remake and have the first 3 games in it. No, I guess those would be too soon together with the other ones. Sorry, I'm just dreaming here.
Not necessarily, because you're thinking like Red, Blue, and then Gold and Silver, and then what came next? Ruby and Sapphire?
I kind of want a new story in those worlds with all of those Pokemons.
I would be totally down for that. Just a giant, huge, 3-region game. Totally.
We have the technology where we can act. I mean, back then when Pokemon came out, it was massive for the system. I never saw anything like that on a Game Boy before.
Yeah.
That big of a. In my brain, it was this huge world. Now you go back and you realize, but it's so massive for the little tiny Game Boy. If the NX or whatever, you could do, or that's the perfect place to have the 3 regions. 700 Pokemon and a new story with new characters, and they run into the old ones.
Totally.
You could totally do that, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You take the next
one.
I
love this news. I could, when I saw this video go up, I thought this is a joke, right?
Yeah.
Because I missed the Nintendo Direct. I missed when they actually announced that they're bringing a new character to Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS. And it is Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. I couldn't believe it.
No, I don't think. I mean, I think honestly, this is the first character that has no. Well, I guess PacMan has no ties to Nintendo.
Well, that's I don't
It makes
know.
sense because Namco did it. It makes sense because the creator of this Smash did Pac-Man, right?
Right.
But this is the first one where Cloud has no. Final Fantasy VII was not on anything ever Nintendo, right?
Right.
Right. So
I don't even think it was on anything. Like nothing related to it was on anything, but like it was all PlayStation and related systems. Yeah.
Like Snake was on Nintendo first, so that made sense. But this was the first one. This is just them giving it to the fans, and I love it. I love that they clearly this was something that fans, but this was that whole vote thing. And I honestly think Shovel Knight's the next one. It has to be Shovel Knight or Goku.
Could you imagine Goku in Super Smash? Jesus.
I could totally see Goku in Super Smash. It would fit perfectly. Once we got Cloud in here, there's no, as long as the studio is willing to do it, they could put anyone in there. I really think Shovel Knight would be perfect just because it's kind of like, it's a game, man. I know you haven't played it. You gotta try Shovel Knight. It's so good. It's so fun. It's that old school, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo feel to it.
Yeah.
I freaking love it. It's perfect Nintendo. It's like if they were like, hey, let's make a really great NES game again. Let's just do it. We don't care about all the new stuff that's coming out. Let's just make a great NES game. And they put it out, and it's like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So that was cool. We got Dragon Quest 7 and 8 coming to 3DS.
Okay.
Never was a big Dragon Quest fan, but I know there's a huge fan base for that.
It's a massive series. I'm another one. I was like, this was never for me.
Yeah. It's I got into RPGs way late, so I mean, there's a lot of Final Fantasy games I've never tried. And I actually got a lot of them for the iPad because games on the iPad are not that good. There's some of them are good, Hearthstone and even actually like the Star Wars KOTOR is pretty good on it, but the Final Fantasy games are actually really good. It's perfect. You just the menus and you move them around. It's kind of made for those kind of old RPGs. I'm just starting to get kind of back into that.
Sure, there you go.
Yeah, and it's and I guess I haven't mentioned that if you own an iPad or anything like that, check out the Final Fantasy games if you've never played them, because it's kind of the perfect place to do so if you don't have a Vita or 3DS or whatnot. But yeah, we got Zelda Wii U is still coming next year. I don't think it is, but that's what they're saying.
Well, I think it is because they were
Really?
Remember they were originally promising this year.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And everybody thought they were crazy. So they were like, there's no way.
And you got to give it to Nintendo. They don't release a game until it's done.
Yeah. Well, because they don't do, they're not big on the whole like day one patch nonsense. They're gonna put out a game that's finished.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Probably the most polished studio in the industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Mario Maker will be getting a course filtering website. So I'm not real sure what that means. I guess it's a website you can go to and you can filter through a lot of the courses.
I'm sure it's basically like search optimization in a sense.
Right. It's kind of weird that I always hate it when games make you go outside of the core system to do anything. This is kind of like Destiny to me. Like, here's the app. The app's great, but if you don't know about it, you have to jump through hoops if you don't know about it. Where this, it seems like the kind of the same thing. It's like, hey, we hear you. Here's an alternative to get things done.
Yeah.
We got new Splatoon content coming in a couple of hours, apparently, it said. So I guess it's already out.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess, and they said, hey, if you want a female Link, now you can in Hyrule Warriors Legends.
Yeah, what was it? Linkle, I believe was her name.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. To me, it looked kind of like fan art or something.
Kind of, yeah.
But yeah, no. Hey, if you want your female Link fix, there you go. And wasn't it rumored that the new Zelda game you were going to be able to be a female Link?
Well, because it still kind of looks like it,
Right.
The features are a little more narrow. They're it's not the same kind of sort of rounded boyish face that we're used to.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Well, hey, man, we just touched video game stuff, so we'll be back with a lot more news. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got a lot more news to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. Fallout 4, Bethesda's Fallout 4 sold 12 million copies and generated over 750 million in its first 24 hours at retail on November 10th. Yeah, those numbers obliterated over 550 million in 72 hours that Activision owner developer Tyrek earned with Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Yeah, that just destroyed Treyarch's record. God. Wow.
Yeah, and just to give you context, it was like, for example, Tomb Raider came out and sold fewer than 57,000 copies in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to, I forgot, the math to that is insane. I think that's like 7-1, Fallout copies that were sold. If you estimated if that's what the rest of the world did with Tomb Raider, that's insane. Like 12 million copies. I'm pretty sure they outsold Fallout 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah,
easy.
It's crazy. I mean, I knew it was going to do good. I didn't know it was going to do that good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting numbers like that. That's for sure.
Right. And granted, Call of Duty does it every year. They have a new game every year. Fallout, the Bethesda, they don't do these games for years. They wait to come out. So it's a great game. If you were a Fallout fan, go buy the game. There's no reason you should not own the game. If you're not into it, then it's just going to be more Fallout, so it might not be for you. Just like I think I really am the minority when I say I love the Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm just not into those kind of games anymore. The newer one, it couldn't grip me. As much as it was fun and whatnot, it didn't get me like it did everyone else, where they're like, this is a 10, perfect game. Fallout 4 has its problems and bugs, but you can't make a game like that and not have this kind of bugs it does. So anyway, we'll get into all that later, but I just thought those numbers were insane, and it kind of brought me into the other topic of Tomb Raider. Like, it did really bad numbers, which is sad.
Because it was set up against Fallout 4, and it was a system exclusive. I don't care. Like, I'm not casting aspersions at the fact that it was on Xbox and not PlayStation. I'm saying the fact that it was only on one system. What did they expect? Right,
and I mean, it's one of those, like, they came out and said that the game wouldn't have been made if Microsoft didn't back them, which I don't think's true. I think it would have been made, maybe not would have been the same experience, the amount of money. But I think I think PlayStation's looking at this and going, well, there you go. What did you expect?
Hey, you guys who have a PS4, in a year's time when the exclusivity comes up, you're going to get the Ultimate Edition that's patched with all the DLC that's come out between now and then for the same $60 new price.
Who says it's going to be 60? It might be 40 at that time.
Because it'll have whatever extra content comes out.
And see, yeah, they might call it the definitive edition or something like that.
Sure, something like that.
And I'm curious, this would be so bizarre if in a year from now it sells on the PlayStation and it outsells Xbox. For a game to do good a year after, usually a game has one moment. You have your one moment to sell. It's not like a TV show where it's like, oh, that's a cult classic, or I'm sorry, like a TV, like Clerks or something, where it blows up on home video. Video games usually aren't like that. It either comes out and does good and it does game busters. It doesn't sell a year later and make a lot of money. So this is, I mean, again, I don't want to, Xbox people, I don't have an Xbox. It sucks that I can't play the game. I'll be playing it a year, or if I get an Xbox before then, I might get it for it. I hear the game's amazing. Some people are saying it's their game of the year. Some people they're putting it above Fallout. They're putting it above Battlefront. They're saying this is a fun, great game. It's Uncharted copied Tomb Raider, and Tomb Raider's now copying Uncharted. Or I shouldn't say copying, but it's just playing off of the same kind of thing.
Right.
They're saying this is that kind of fun of a game, and I hate that I can't play it. This is a game I'd have right now. I'd probably be playing that over Fallout right now because that's the kind of game that really sinks its teeth into me. And it really sucks. I feel bad. You know what? Honestly, I think the timing messed up. Either they needed to bust their ass and put it out before Fallout and Call of Duty, or they should have held it until February.
Well, I mean, holiday season. They could have
Yeah,
waited
but
2 more weeks.
yeah, exactly. They could have put it out in December. I really think January, February would have been a sweet spot because nothing comes out around then. And it's just like, what was that zombie game that came out this year?
Dying Light?
Dying Light did fantastic. That's the kind of game that it wouldn't have done that good if it was any other time of the year. It would have been completely looked over.
True.
And it did really good. That was the only thing people were playing at that point in time. So I don't know. It's just it was a put it out the day Fallout comes out. Come on, get out of here. It was the worst decision ever. Speaking of Fallout, though, did you see who was playing it?
I did. I think I turned you onto this one.
Yeah. Well, tell us about it.
I went to Twitter and how they now they do while you were away posts. And
Yep.
This was from a few hours before I jumped on, and it was Patrick Rothfuss, who's the author of The Name of the Wind, and it was his tweet about something, but it had a Twitch URL. And I thought, well, no, wait a minute.
Right.
Why is this a Twitch URL? I have to check this out. And it's him building his homestead in Fallout 4. It's the funniest damn thing.
Oh, yeah, and he was totally into it. He was like, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to move this around, and we need to have some protection here because this is, of course, where the raiders would come, and I just thought, this is so cool.
Oh, he ultra thought it out.
Yeah,
there was a definitive thought process there, and I mean, that was I loved, and of course, at the very end, he's getting ready to go, and he's talking about, he's doing it for charity. We should mention he's doing it for World Builders, which is his charity. They're doing a fundraising drive for Heifer International, and so he's talking about this, and he's talking about they're doing a giveaway where he said we're giving away $100,000. I think he said in books and games, and some of the books are rare and they're signed, and the turrets on the farm are facing the wrong way. It's that's brilliant. That's magnificent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, and honestly, that you can spend the whole game just doing that, just building your societies and building your structures and your sanctuaries, and I like going into the game thinking of The Walking Dead. That I'm Rick, everyone's depending on me, and I got to build this place and protect my people from just crazy people out there, and that's what happens. The more bigger you get, the more people try to raid you and try to get in. And
makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting game. But yeah, I thought that was cool that he was playing it. I kind of wanted to jump around here a bit, and I wanted to talk about this news that it shows that journalism is it's just screwed up these days. Everyone's fast to get out there with the story, and they don't take time to research it. And it sadly had to do with the events that happened in Paris. If you turned on your TVs the following days, you probably saw a story basically talking about how PlayStation 4s were or could have been used in the terrorists communicating and whatnot. And the way they labeled the articles and whatnot, like how ISIS terrorists may have used PlayStation 4 to discuss and plan attacks. Basically, they were saying that that's what they did. And there wasn't a lot of research done into it. They've have to cut the original article by Forbes. They've come back and edited it and corrected it and said, there was mistakes in here. I had to edit and correct it. I misread the minister's statement because even though he was specifically saying the PS4 was being used by ISIS to communicate, there was no public list of evidence list that was found in the specific recent raids, and so they've had to go back and edit that. There was a lot about I won't get too much into it. I don't want to have to sit here and read the whole thing, but it was just misinformation that they were basically saying the PS4 was used to communicate, and there was no evidence of that. They found a PS4, I guess, in one of the guys' places.
Some
and
people are still quick to blame video games for freaking everything.
Exactly, yeah, and it's I mean, it's just like anything. It's the PlayStation 4's way to communicate. Like just like the WhatsApp app on the phone. It's really hard to track people communicating. It's just a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool to whatever. If they weren't using if they were using the PlayStations to do that, they could have well done that. They could have been on Call of Duty talking to each other. So many things that just would be hard to people are going to communicate it's really hard to stop that no matter what.
Right,
so
I
thought it was such a
before you're going to come down and say this was a contributing factor, have your shit together.
Right, exactly. You're a journalist, you need to you went to school for that. Like, do it. You're not a fly-by-night operation. So and that's the thing. Once they got all that news out there was no news to correct it. I didn't see one thing on the news to correct it. I saw Kotaku doing an article about it. Jason Schreier over there, great guy. Like, he does a lot of really good articles on Kotaku. Highly recommend going and reading his stuff. He does some really good work on it, and that was one of the ones that I just thought, like, wow, I'm glad someone's saying it, because holy crap, like, there's a little edit at the end of the Forbes article correcting it, and that's about all I saw. So yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's see here. Naughty Dog developer says they have one last game, or at least one more game for the PlayStation 4. What do you think it is, Logan?
We know they're doing a Last of Us sequel.
Yep. So I think that's the one they're talking about.
I think they have one more after that yet too.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I don't think it will be an Uncharted. I honestly believe this will be their swan song to Uncharted. I don't think Sony's going to give up on Uncharted by any means. I think that sells way too much. It's the PlayStation brand. Uncharted is the king right now.
Yeah.
So that they're not getting rid of it anytime soon. I think Naughty Dog would actually like to move on to something new, just like they did. With some of their other ones. So what do you think they would do? Just an original story?
Yeah, well, like they did with The Last of Us. Yeah, like just branch out into something else completely different, a brand new IP. I'd like
to see sci-fi with them.
That would be cool. That would definitely be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'd love to see like Blade Runner or something like that. Not Blade Runner directly, but just some kind of cool sci-fi thriller. Right, yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. It would be something different, and it's something I know they could do because they just tell a good story. The Guardians of the Galaxy type game.
Ooh, that would actually be really interesting.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. Their doors are open, man. And I think they've been Uncharted long enough. That's their bread and butter right now, and it's time to let it go. It's crazy. They've had huge franchises they just move on from, and they just do better.
Yeah.
So that's why I have no problem with them leaving a franchise behind, closing it off, with Uncharted 4, closing that book, and moving on to something else would be great. And Last of Us 2 would be awesome as well. Let's see here. We're actually kind of running a little short on time, so we'll be back. We got a little bit more video game news to talk about. We'll get into comics and some reviews. We'll see you in a few minutes. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and got a little bit more game news to talk about, then we'll jump into comics. I did see that Xbox One, for a limited time, if you purchase an Xbox One bundle from Amazon, you get to pick an extra game for free, including games like Battlefront, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Halo 5. Unfortunately, Fallout 4 is not included on the eligible bonus game, but it's available as part of the Xbox One Fallout bundle. So you get the Fallout bundle, and you can get a Battlefront for free. So I thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that. And,
that was kind of like what I did when like the deal they had at GameStop. I got the holiday bundle that came with Gears of War Ultimate Edition and Rare Replay, and they threw in a free whatever you wanted. So it's like,
right, cool. And you get an extra controller too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good deal. Oh man, it's gonna be hard to avoid things this weekend. Nintendo won a court battle in Italy against importers and copyrights protection, infringing consoles and accessories. So it was apparently a pretty big win for them over there.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. We got. Oh, did you see the Super Star Wars? The SNES title was ported over to PS4.
Yeah, $10. It's up right now.
$10. They had some other Star Wars games on there, right?
I don't know.
I know that with the whatever big bundle, there was a few other games you could download. I just forgot the name of them. I think one was like the Pod Racer game, one was Jedi Fighter, and Bounty Hunter. But I don't think they're available just yet.
Okay.
Well, I know the Super Star Wars one is, and if you've never played that, go buy it right now.
Yeah, and it's a pain. Like the Star Wars trilogy on Super Nintendo were my introduction to what became kind of known as like Nintendo difficult.
Yeah,
like there were some
absolutely.
games that were just Nintendo hard. They just
Oh,
were.
yeah.
Like,
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's like those, and it's like the old school Mega Man games were like that. But I never like mine. My big one was Super Empire Strikes Back. That was the one I had, and it was a pain. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I own all three of them still. I still pull out the Super Nintendo sometimes to play them. I'm proud that I was able to beat all of them.
Nice.
The Cantina level in the first Star Wars game. Oh my god, dude! Fighting that last boss fight, I thought I could never do it. Dude with like the big arms. He's basically the villain from the chess set.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and it's rough. But those games, and they don't make any sense. Like like what you run into on Tatooine and everything else, it makes no sense. But it was totally cool. I saw this zombie physical version of the Zombie Wii U port coming in January 21st.
Yeah, Zombie U got ported digitally to other consoles, but they are doing a physical release in January, and that's cool. I would recommend picking that up because Zombie U was an awesome game.
Yeah, I never got to it. Let's see here. We got Xbox One controller now update allows for custom button mapping.
Yeah, they did a thing at E3 where like the Elite controller you can button map and like everybody went crazy but Xbox has released a firmware update now where it's like, and now you can do that with any Xbox controller. It's like, okay, it's cool.
Nice, absolutely. Well, hey man, that's it for video game news. We're gonna jump into comics, and we got 2 books to talk about. We actually got an email from one of our listeners, a good friend actually. He found out about the show and he loved it. He sent an email and he actually kind of gave a review for one of our books that we talked about.
Well, let's hear it.
Absolutely. Now, well, to kind of give you a backup here, we did Morning Glories. And we just ran out of time last week, so we pushed it. So we're going to be talking about Morning Glories this week and Northlanders, the book that you picked. So I'm going to read the email, and then I'll read kind of Jake's review of what he thought of Morning Glories, and we can kind of get into it a little bit. I kind of want to spend more time with his review talking about it, though. But yeah, here's his email. Hey guys, Montana Jake here. Now, whenever I met Jake, he told me he's from Montana. I was like, all right, Jake from Montana, and the name kind of stuck. So he said, very quick background. I met Adam on the school bus my junior year of high school. He gave me my nickname, which stuck with me all the way to St. Louis. Quite a few fond memories with Adam. ART, which was anger release therapy. Lord of the Rings. Death of Superman, etc. And I'll get into that in just a minute. I'll tell you guys what that's all about. And today in 2015, I'm quite proud of the kid. Oh, wow, that's nice. So after learning of WGP, marathoning your show for 2 straight weeks in order to catch up for the N.FM broadcast, I've come to a simple conclusion. Your show is almost perfect for a geek in my field. I'm a sous chef for Banquet Kitchen, so it's a whole lot of solo work for 8 to 16 hours a day. Not a lot of time to catch up on the other stuff I love. I'm also so behind. It's embarrassing. Like I told him, it's almost another full-time job to be a nerd these days. I kind of wanted to actually talk about what he does because I found it so interesting. It's such a cool job. Like he said, he's a chef. The restaurant that I think he started with a friend of his. I don't know if he's owner or whatnot, but it's super cool. Let me give you the name here. It's called I had everything in front of me for a second. It's called Tenacious Eats. And again, he's in St. Louis. So basically, it's a restaurant. It's movies for foodies. And basically, they started talking films that had great food in them. So basically, you go, you sit down, you watch a film. They sit the audience down, and when the dish comes across the screen, they prep, cook, and serve that same dish in the middle of the audience. So they have a kitchen and everything out in front of them, and they have seating rows. It's 5 courses with 5 cocktails. And now they're kind of doing it. They're switching it so it's like their favorite movies, like Godfather, The Big Lebowski. So like the scene in The Big Lebowski where they threaten to cut off dude's Johnson, they serve Wiener Schnitzel. So it's really cool. Again, it's in St. Louis, and it's called the Tenacious Eats. So check them out. Go eat at his place. The kid's really cool. I've known him forever. He's a super cool kid. Let's get into his review here of Morning Glories. Now, this is a book that I picked that I read a while ago and I really loved. And it's because it's so weird. I still can't even tell you what's going on, and I need to read more. And Jake, I think actually he's read more than me, so I'll read his review. For art style, pretty awesome. I like the attention to detail when it comes to conveying emotion during some of the really twisted scenes, though this same attention can be a bit lacking during regular story progression. For character development, he said, not bad. They've certainly fleshed out some characters right out the gate, and while a few seem one-dimensional, I can't wait to hear June's story. Let's see here. For story, what the hell is going on, he said. This is a story that I can dig in for the long haul, but I feel that that's a personal preference bias because I did enjoy Lost. I can see a lot of people being turned off by the lack of progression, though. Conclusion, I read up to issue 25, and it's starting to fall into place. I do feel bad for those only on issue 6, but I would urge everyone to keep going. If you like Lost, you'll probably love this story. Adam, keep up the good work, and Logan, though we've never met, I feel we should share a beer together. Cheers to the captains, Montana Jake. So
cheers, Jake.
Absolutely. So yeah, man. So what did you think of Morning Glories?
I think he hit it pretty well on the head. It is kind of a slow burn at first. You do have, like, for what happens, not a lot happens.
Right.
But it is fascinating. And
it's a lot of weird moments.
Yeah, and you can see, though, that it's set up deliberately. Like, they are telling you, this is going to be a long-haul book. You're going to need to be in here for it, and they understand they have to put some pieces in place that are going to keep your interest.
Oh, yeah, like, who's this ghost kid that puts his hands through people? Who's this bald-headed girl speaking Spanish? That, there's just so many scenes in the first 6 issues where you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell's going on? All WTF moments, and
totally.
Why are they in this school, and why are who would let them go to a place like this? And like, it's absolutely insane. I love it. I really need to read more. He's read way more than I have, and I think that's awesome. Nice. I love that he's picked it up. But yeah, man. Well, we got some time to talk about your book of the week. I absolutely loved it, dude. When did you read this?
I read this. God, when did I read this? Like a year and a half ago. And I don't remember how I came across it. That's the thing I keep trying to think of. But yeah, like, I forget where I saw. I think it was like on the shelf at a comic shop, and I was that's something new. I really think that was like the extent of the thought process.
Right.
And so I snagged volume 1, and I loved it. It's old-timey Viking without being, like, it doesn't drag.
No, it doesn't drag at all, and it's not the same, like, I couldn't tell what the story was going to do next, because he didn't react in the way that I thought the stereotypical character in this position would react. Like, there's scenes in it where I'm like, well, he's totally going to kill this person, he doesn't. Or it's like, he's not going to kill this person, and he does, and it's really cool. And you're right, it's just one beat after another. Usually I'll read a few issues, I'll put it down, I'll do something. This I read all the way through.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. And you said there was other issues?
Yeah, it's a whole God, there's and
How many
each
volumes?
there's I forget how many volumes, but like each volume is its own story. It's an anthology. Like
Oh
that,
yeah,
yeah.
this was you pick it up, it ends, and I feel like that was a really good story, and I want to read more about it. Now, did the other volumes follow around the same people, like, or not the same people, but the same area, or is it like a different area entirely?
It's not a different area entirely, but it's
Okay.
not it's definitely like, oh, this happened like a small jump further away, either in location or time. Like
Is it the
it's
same world?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it's just kind of set in the similar vein. You know,
gotcha.
it's not relying on continuity, but it's just like, hey, this era has a lot of great stories to tell, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I really dug it. I definitely want to pick up volume 2. It surprised the hell out of me. I didn't know what I was gonna think of it. When you said Brian Wood, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Immediately I was like, I know I'm gonna like it. But it's surprised. I've never heard of it before, and I thought it was damn good, dude.
There you go.
That was an amazing pick. Well, we got some time. Did you think about what book you want us to read this week?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna double up this week, and then we'll get back to back and forth, and we'll
Right.
get the poll back up as soon as we can decide
yeah.
what we're gonna put on it again.
Right.
But I want everyone to pick up Alias issues 1 through 9. I don't know if they're collected. They are collected, volume 1, issues 1 through 9, because we have Jessica Drew on Netflix on Friday. Go read this.
All right. It's issues 1 through 9, right?
Yeah. Volume 1 is issues 1 through 9, and it's
Is it called Jessica Jones the Alias?
no, it's just Alias.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah.
that's telling me. Well, yeah, Amazon has a Jessica Jones Alias Volume 1.
That's entirely possible too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's issues
By
1 through
Michael
9.
Bennis, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right, so it's the 2001. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I just
And it is a Marvel Max book, so it is for mature audiences only.
okay.
For
That
sure.
sounds good. Yeah, this is one we talked about that I didn't really get to, so this would be really good. Or I think maybe I did. Parts of it I remember, but yeah. So, but again, we'll be right back. Actually, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and that kind of sums up our comics. So yes, go pick up Alias. I need to pick it up, so we'll be reading that this week. But let's get into reviews, man. Kind of put a little bit more time on this turnaround. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's jump into like the Flash and Arrow and Gotham type universe first. Let's do Gotham first. What did you think of Gotham?
I love this show. Like this show has done such a 180 from last season, and it just keeps getting better.
Absolutely, man. These villains are great, and I do kind of hate that whenever Gordon he points out a cop and a cop kind of gets fleshed out just a little bit, and they're like, "Good job," they're dead.
Well, but
we should say, by the way, we're going to spoil the hell out of everything we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right, so just expect that this time reviews we're gonna get into it. Yeah, whenever I see that and I'm like, oh right, finally some police officers. We're gonna see some faces. Yep, they're killed.
But I mean, that was like
It had
that
to
was
happen.
the whole point of that of his particular arc. Like his whole thing of like, no, I'm not gonna cross this line. I'm not gonna blow this guy's head off because we have to. It was what Chiklis's character said. He's the law. The law is what separates us from them. And
they just
so
keep fridging people. That's what I just don't
Yeah.
like. It's like, here's a great female, strong, police officer, killer.
Well,
to push his story along.
And I would have been fine either way, with
Right.
with who the cop was, but just the idea of like, this cop
Right.
did good work. They may have a future. Gordon obeyed the law. He did this the right way, and
Right.
that's why it all falls apart because
Yeah.
this is Gotham.
It's Gotham, exactly. And so I'm totally with you, man. I love that they're showing that and they're pushing that and they're trying to make him like, that maybe wasn't the best move. You probably should have killed him. Like that's how the world works. You see a guy killing all those cops, he would have been dead in a second.
And that's what Gordon was trying to tell him. He was trying to say, this is Gotham. We do things differently here. No, we have to do it this. Okay.
And what I'm saying is, like, in the real world, he would have been dead immediately. They would have not. They would have not hesitated to pull that trigger.
Oh no! Oh hell! Are you kidding?
The real world, he would have been dead the moment they saw him after he killed those cops. That's why it kind of takes me out of it, because I'm like, you're going a little bit too, like, we got to do the right thing. Like, the right thing would have been to shoot him on sight because of how many cops he just killed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your beliefs are, but that would have happened, and no matter what universe you lived in, you don't do that. I just thought that was crazy. But dude, the show, the Riddler just gets better and better.
I love that he has embraced going around the bend. The only thing that's missing are the actual riddles. That's the only piece of the puzzle that's missing, and we saw a little hint of that last week.
Right.
But we're getting there.
I like that he talked to the Penguin and he made the Penguin really understand. Look, that was your mom was your weakness. That was the one thing that guy had over you, and now you have nothing to lose, which means he has nothing to hold over your head. So you're dangerous. He had a very good point to him. He was like, look, our weaknesses are now gone. Yeah. The things that held us back from who they really are is not there anymore.
Yeah, I'm telling you, his character season 1, fine. I got where they were going with it. And then when they kind of decided to accelerate it in season 2, I thought, well, okay, be careful here. You don't want to overstep. And then they didn't just overstep. Like, they saw the line of like where it would be safe to go at a certain pace, and they just like catapulted over it. Like, they left that line in the dust. That line was a dot to them. And credit to the actor whose name I cannot remember. But he is just fantastic. Yep. He is absolutely nailing it.
Oh yeah. One show I didn't see this week was Supergirl. I need to go back and watch that. Apparently it's doing better. It's getting more viewers every week. Just like Gotham, apparently their viewer base are just going up and up and up.
Up and away?
Yep, up and away. I think, yes, Supergirl is sitting at like 8 million strong now.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that's good. What did you think of Arrow?
I liked Arrow. This was a mixed bag of an episode for me with Arrow, because I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'll say it off the top. I liked the episode, but there were some of the elements just didn't quite jive. It was too easy to break into where Dark was holding him. I thought like that. It didn't. I don't know. Something about that didn't quite work for me.
Right, whatever that box is, I mean, that's kind of interesting, I think. Damien Dark, I like him as a bad guy, but I like the actor. I like what he's doing. I think something needs to happen soon.
Yeah, he needs to have a big moment.
Right, yeah, he hasn't had that yet. I can't tell if he's going to be a really, really good bad guy or he's just going to fizzle out by the end of the season. And I don't want that. I want there to be some real... Because it just seems like someone dies, they come right back. And they kind of took care of that. They're like, nope, this thing doesn't exist anymore. That's going to bring people back. But yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was interesting. You know what I didn't realize? That Mr. Terrific is in the show. I had no idea he was Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we probably talked about it before, but for some reason, it just hit me. I'm like...
Yeah, I'll tell you.
And when I saw that bomb thing he was making, I was like, this dude... is Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So I thought it was really cool. You know, it's become a really good show, and you know, we get to kind of see the consequences of Sarah, you know, coming back and you know not fully. We see that every time with these people that touch that stuff. So
yeah, and we got to see like it's moving towards the setup. Like the big crossover in 2 weeks is basically the pilot for Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, we saw that in the Flash this week, with Cisco's, his date. What did you think of it?
I love this show. This may be my favorite show going right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't get enough of this show. This has the most in tune to the fan base writers.
Oh yeah.
Ever.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't think anything comes close to it. Dude, when they played Peter Gabriel, I was like, what's going on? Is this for real?
Cisco in his movies. Cisco in his movies. It was They pulled the Say Anything, and I loved it. I loved it.
It was amazing, and his girlfriend is Hawkgirl, and I love that he finally figured it out, and he's like, whoa, this is cool. And the ending, dude, like Gorilla Grodd, I assumed kind of it was going there when they were like, we have a place we can send him that he'd really get along.
Yeah.
I was like, please be Gorilla City, please be Gorilla City. And then when he's there and you see the big gorilla like stone thing in the background, I thought, oh my god, this is perfect, because for a while now, that's what he's been missing, because in the comic book world, if you don't know, he's like the leader of a civilization of gorillas. Yeah. Super intelligent gorillas, and that wasn't existing in this version of the Flash, and now it's just full-on comic book for him.
Oh, totally. I am all for it. And anytime you can get Cisco to drop a Grape Ape reference, like that, who in the hell comes up with these things? That was gold, man. That was perfect.
Yeah, Cisco is just nailing it, and there's a lot of cool things. His dad comes back into the picture, which I really do hate. That's the one negative thing about these shows that I don't like, is they're like, hey, this person that was gone for a while and you just got back, they're gonna go away. And it's like, I mean, I get it for the story. They can't be there the whole time.
Yeah.
So they gotta come back. It's very One Tree Hill to me. It's very like, I just came back into your life, but now I need to leave, because you can't make a comeback unless you go away for a little bit. Like that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm a sucker for these kind of shows. That's why I enjoyed One Tree Hill and a lot of those other ones, because you don't get that moment where they come back and you're like, boom, they walk in the room, and it's important. So I don't know. I definitely mirror what you said, man. This is by far and away one of the best shows on television right now. Might be my favorite, just because it's the one I look forward to every week. Kind of like the next one I want to talk about. Walking Dead. What'd you think of it?
This was an odd episode for me. Wasn't like it felt like a stall. Like, I understand where they were going. I see what they're doing with this season, where they're saying, okay, we had the big thing that happened, and so now we're going to show you the aftermath, and we're going to do it piece by piece so we can tell a more fleshed out story. I get that.
Right.
But this episode stalled. It was like, hey, here's a pair of characters. The whole thing with Abraham and Sasha, I understand the balance between them. Like, she's coming back from the brink and is trying to keep him from going over, because she was just there and she can see that's where he's headed. And between this and Gotham, this was the screaming at villains week.
Right.
I mean, between Abraham and Gordon, like, I would love to see, like, put those two side by side.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, there was a lot of interesting things that happened in this episode. What did you think about? I thought it was really cool. A lot of the burn zombies and stuff.
That was neat.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And apparently there was someone paid homage to somebody with one of the zombies. Did you see this?
It was a Swamp Thing.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
That was a like a tip of the hat to Swamp Thing with that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what they were. Well, see, I thought it was paying homage to Dawn of the Dead. No, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong thing. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so it was Swamp Thing. That's what I thought, because it was the Swamp one that came out of the.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. I really dug it. I love Daryl. What did you think at the end when he asked for Glenn? He asked for Glenn.
And it's interesting. Norman in an interview said that over the walkie-talkie at the end that wasn't Glenn.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he was kind of like, "Hey, is anyone out there?"
Yeah, and then you hear help. Like it's just real plain and real
Oh,
simple.
I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear. Oh, you got to go back and hear that. I think it. That's what I think it is, Glenn. I think it is, and go back and watch. Like,
wait, so he said it wasn't Glenn though?
Yeah, that was what he said, and I think somebody told him to say that because if you listen to it, it sounds like Glenn, and I say it is Glenn because I don't think Glenn's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think every week that goes by, I believe the same thing, because they're leaving it too open-ended. They're leaving it as a big mystery until the what do you call it now? The half-season finale,
the mid-season finale, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, the big, like, he's alive! And then by the end of the season, he's probably going to be gone. But
that's just 2 episodes out, too. Like we've only got 2 more left this half of the season. So I mean, next week we're finally gonna see everybody comes back to Alexandria, and we're gonna see. I mean, we got our first look at this other crew out there too. I mean, comic book fans, we know who they were,
right?
But it's interesting to see how they're introduced. Like that was.
Yeah, man, I really love the structure of this season. Like we are seeing like 3 or 4 different spots happening at the same time, and we're seeing it all play out. But it's really well done. Like it is top notch, man. So we got a lot more reviews to talk about, a few more shows and some video games. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and let's get into it. The last of our reviews. I kind of want to talk about Into the Badlands now. I understand you didn't see it, so I'm going to try and stay spoiler free as I can.
Okay.
First, let me say, go watch it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt you're going to love it. It's one of the best pilots I think I've ever seen.
Nice.
Yeah, ton of action, good story. There's a lot of moments that surprised me. A lot of characters did things that I wasn't expecting, I didn't see coming. And it's really cool. I love the world that they set up. It's so different at the same time, though. I get that Kill Bill vibe. I get like the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's a lot of things that you've seen before, just done differently in like a different kind of world. Like it's really bizarre. It's almost like they're in a southern plantation, but this guy's clearly Asian, and it's a lot of kung fu and like ninjas, but they're in the South, but it's not the South. It's just this weird world that they set up, and I love it. I love they explain everything in the first episode. They explain how the world works. How these, and this doesn't spoil anything, but how these basically 5 families kind of work, and each one owns a huge part of a money-making type machine where like you can't really piss off the other family too much, because you need to work together with them so you can make an income and make money in this world and whatnot. So, and you can see the startings of like there's going to be problems. And these 5 families are going to have problems. And when I say families, I mean like huge, like clans. You know what I mean?
Right.
Parts of the world, basically. Like they're going to go to war with this other side, or this side's going to go to war with that other side, or this side's going to go to war with that other side, and there would be a big problem. And they're kind of tiptoeing around that. And so I'll leave it at that. Like it's just it introduces this world, how these characters play into it. It's just amazing, and the characters are great too. So absolutely go see it. It's on AMC. It plays right after The Walking Dead. So if you're watching it live, just keep your TVs on and enjoy it. And the first season, I'm sure, is on demand and a million other places you can watch it. And it's full of action. The opening scene alone is just like, holy crap! How are they doing this on a TV show?
Nice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So tell me about Doctor Who. How was it?
I was disappointed this weekend. This was
really?
The first episode that wasn't a 2-parter, and this was not a strong episode.
No.
This was one that tripped over itself trying to be clever.
Okay.
It tried to do a little too much, and it kind of fell apart, and which was a little ironic because the monsters were made of sand. But it did. Like I was not. It didn't. It might have been like a fun little sort of aside, like kind of like, hey, here's a story with a monster that isn't part of the grand canon of all of this, and those are fine. Those can be really well done episodes, but this one just wasn't.
Right.
I don't know. I wasn't really. I could see some of the elements they were going for, and they were kind of neat, but they didn't quite pull it together this week. It was a bummer.
Right. Yeah, I need to catch up on this. This is the one that I've really left behind. I'm caught up on pretty much everything else besides Doctor Who. I've got a few days off this weekend, and I don't have any plans. All my plans are next weekend, so I think I'm just going to sit down and marathon as much as I can. I say that, but then I'm going to be playing Battlefront, so who knows? There was one more show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. How'd you like it?
I am finally caught up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
I'm digging it. I'm really digging it this season. Some of the twists were interesting. Some of them were just kind of okay. I saw that coming.
Right.
Not when they revealed who dude was. Like that was the choice I didn't think they'd make. I thought they were going to go somewhere else with it, but that was interesting. But
oh yeah.
And they've said what next? Is it next week or the week after where they have their mid-season finale? And they've talked about there's a Winter Soldier level twist, and I'm okay, sure, let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I mean, I like this new kind of Hydra, and who's the guy that's like, you can tell he's going to be working with Ward a lot. I can't think of his name. I just like it's cool. I kind of wish it's just been nothing but Hydra. I want more bad guys, like bigger, things. It just seems like, spoiler alert, you find out that she's clearly tricking, Coulson, and she's working with Hydra.
But she doesn't know that, though.
Oh, I thought she does.
No, that was the whole, last 5 minutes of the episode.
Well, I thought she was like, he doesn't suspect anything, we'll get him soon. She said pretty much everything except Hell Hydra, I thought.
Oh, you're behind one, aren't you?
Am I?
Yeah, you didn't see... Yeah, because they had one tonight.
Oh, I didn't watch tonight. Okay, I'm behind one.
I say nothing.
Okay, don't say anything. Yeah, my bad. I didn't see tonight.
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, so, she's totally screwing him over. And I thought, Coulson is, I think, and don't tell me, but I clearly think he's acting as if he wants to be involved with this woman and whatever. I think it's a little bit too, on the I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think it's in my point of view, when I'm seeing him, I'm like, he has to be playing the act. I could be totally wrong, but it just doesn't seem like in his character to be like, oh, okay, they're putting him away for a little bit, and this is totally fine, and I'm getting really close with my enemy, and I think he's purposely trying to get close to try to get in, and I hopefully think he's on to her. I guess I'll find out tonight when I watch tonight's episode.
I like what they've done with Coulson's character just throughout the whole series. Like he's not. They've shown him when he's a step ahead, and he's awesome when he is. And they've shown him when he gets caught just completely flat-footed. And it's always interesting to watch him bounce back from that.
Oh, yeah. Especially when he lost his hands.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, man. So, yeah, that's pretty much the TV shows. We got some time to talk about video games. Tell me what you thought of Battlefront, man.
Battlefront is exactly... Look, if you played the demo, you played Battlefront. Which I know sounds like a stupid thing to say, but it's a conglomerate of multiplayer modes that you can... This is the game that you will buy, and you can pick up at any time. Jump in, do one match of heroes versus villains, and then go do whatever. Or come in and do survival, or one of the missions, or one of the other online modes. It's a drop... Jump in, jump out.
Right.
You can sit and play for hours. Hell, I played for 24 straight.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing. It's always a little different every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's which kind of goes without saying when it comes to a multiplayer game.
Right.
But there's enough variety, and there's 13 maps total. Mm-hmm. So you do get shuffled around, and I loved one of my favorites were the two hero ones, heroes versus villains, which is your team is composed of the 3 heroes or the 3 villains and 3 just assorted troop characters, rebels or imperial or stormtroopers. And the goal is to take out the 3 hero or villain characters on the other team. And that one was fun. And then there's the hunt the hero one, which is one player is a hero and you're all trying to cut him down, and whoever kills the hero then becomes the next hero, and so on and so on and so on. And I think race to 50 kills, and the kills only count either the kill of the hero or your kills as the hero.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So those were neat. Those were the ones I had the most fun with. Walker Assault's on there, and you play it on different maps. It's not just Hoth; it's also on Sullust, and that was the only other one I played it. I only played one game of Walker Assault. But
did you play on that new planet?
No, it's not Jakku.
Oh, I thought you could play it like with the pre-order.
It drops a week before the movie. Like the pre-order gives you the bonus, but like it doesn't pop to down. At least it didn't for me. I put in the code and it was like, okay, great, your code's been redeemed.
That's weird.
But then nothing popped. Like I think it's like you pre-ordered the map. It's like, yeah, you bought it, and then when it comes out, then you get it, kind of thing.
See, I thought it was you get to play the map before the game, before everyone else can, a month before, and I thought the map officially dropped when the movie came out, but everyone that pre-ordered get to play before it.
That was kind of what I thought, but that wasn't what happened. So,
that's weird.
I don't know, but it's fun. It's fun. If you liked what you got when you played the demo, then you'll like the game.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I loved it, and I can't wait to dive into it. I'll probably I got my 3-day weekend, so I got a few things I got to do, but other than that, I'm gonna probably be jumping into it. I absolutely love the demo. I played it with one of my buddies, and I can't wait. One of my other friends bought the game. He bought the game. He texted me. He's like, "What do you think of it?" I was like, "I haven't played it yet." And he's like, "Oh, I sold it to my friend." And I was like, "Well, why did you do that?" And he was like, "Well, there was no single player mode." And I was like, "No, there's not. It was not sold as that."
Right.
And he didn't like that. And I'm like, "Well, you can't be upset that you didn't, educate yourself on your purchase. Like, I don't like that when someone gets, they get upset because they didn't do the
research. Yeah.
Right, they didn't, as the consumer, research what the game is. You know what I mean? Like, Fallout is not a match 3 game. If I bought it and thought that, I can't be like, "Oh, well, this is garbage. It's not what I thought." You know what I mean? So I thought, like, this, from what I understand, it's a really expensive Star Wars toy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and so that's cool. I know going in it's going to be multiplayer. I know going in it's going to be just multiplayer maps, different modes. Go have fun with your friends. It's extremely Star Wars, and that's all I care. I knew that going in. It's not going to be the RPG that I'm really waiting for and whatnot. But yeah, man. So actually, I didn't have time really for Fallout, so I'll talk about that next week because I need more time with it, honestly. Anyway, I could have went on the whole time about it now, but we'll save it for next week. It'll be a big part of next week's podcast.
Good.
So again, next week is Alias that we're going to be reading. You can listen to us on the N.FM like you are right now, 9 p.m. Wednesdays. After that, the day after, we will be on our podcast. You can go to iTunes or Android or however you're doing it. Go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast. We have 2 of them. We have a page you can like, and then we have a page you can talk and discuss things on. And I'll post some polls and whatever this week. Now that I'm kind of back into my groove. But yeah, man, so we'll have a lot more news next week. We got Star Wars coming up soon. Will Adam get an Xbox? Will he not? Who knows? Probably shouldn't, but probably will. And yeah, man, we just got a lot to talk about. So again, the the N.FM, you want to email us at wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Our Twitter is at wegeekpodcast, at Adam Estep, and
at the Logan Witt.
There you go. And that's it. Is there anything else I'm missing?
I think that'll do it.
Captain?
Captain.